Good afternoon, everybody. This is John Connolly high atop center ice at Dakota. Got a exclamation point on the end of that. I'm joined here by Mike Pearson. He is today's color analyst. We had a change of plans. Wilson Housley is a busy man, and he did a great job yesterday, but he is out of pocket and unable to make it over here. So Mike is a father of one of the junior defensemen for Lakeville North. And Mike, one of the things we talked about yesterday is when you drive into the parking lot, you see that Dakota sign. It's got the exclamation point. I want to hear you say Dakota.
Dakota.
Dakota, okay. I was like, I don't know if it's like Dakota fun or Dakota with that exclamation point to really deliver the pop. But anyway, it's a great tournament so far, and we've had nothing but great games here. So yesterday, it was Lakeville North winning 3-2 over Prior Lake in overtime, and the other team, Stillwater, losing 4-3 to St. Thomas. So a couple one-goal games, even a regulation tie. Both teams here are wearing red, white, and black. A lot of passes probably going to be hit to the other team because it'll take a while to adjust to the color schemes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I had an opportunity to talk to the coaches. We're going to play that right now. So this is Coach Eigner of Lakeville. We're just moments before the drop of the puck. I'm here with Coach Trent Eigner. So, Trent, we saw each other at the opener back over Thanksgiving weekend, and whatever you thought you had, I know things got upset beginning of the season with some injuries, and now I'm hearing you think you got all the players back. So where's the team status at this point of the season?
I would say, honestly, we're probably about 2 weeks away from being back to square one with a full lineup in terms of we're going to get some guys back, but I don't consider your first game back anything to be really excited about. It's going to take a couple weeks for the guys to get their feet under them. It does create an interesting dynamic with some healthy competition, kind of 8 games in for spots in the lineup and playing time, which is probably what we'll go through some growing pains the next couple of weeks to figure out what we got.
It's kind of hard to complain about the tournament and how strong the field is to the guy that put it together, because you're one of the guys that put the Hockey for Life together and has some say in it. So what a great field. We've had a couple great games so far. Lakeville North has 3 quality opponents this week, and super, super exciting. So how do you coach knowing that you're about 2 weeks away from being where you want to be personnel-wise, but you got these top quality opponents and you've got to throw to the wolves basically for the 3 games this week?
Well, it's definitely sink or swim for some kids. I mean, that's the ice time they beg for, though, and then they get it and see what they can do with it. So it's, you just make the best of the situation as you can. We certainly have some guys that, 3 weeks from now will be far more experienced than they would have been having watched from the bench a little bit. So, I think we all look forward to getting healthy and creating a little more offense, which is what we lost due to injury. But by and large, I think that the guys that have stepped in there and performed have done an admirable job, worked hard, done what we've asked. The field is super competitive, and I think that as a coach, that's what you want. I mean, if you can guarantee yourself 3 good matchups over the holidays, it's a kind of a good litmus test before you get to the halfway point, so we're thrilled with that.
And let's hope it's not the only time you play 3 games back to back to back this year. Coach Eigner, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now this next one is Coach Matt Doman of Stillwater. It gets a little bit wonky because I'm learning how my iPhone works here. I had a phone call that came in, and when the phone is ringing, it doesn't pick up the audio. So he had some jams right after this cuts out. But here's the first 2/3 of my time with Matt Doman, head coach for Stillwater. We're just moments from the drop of the puck. John Connolly here with Matt Doman. Your team started out and didn't allow a goal for several games and has an undefeated record. Now the competition picks up a little bit. Why don't you tell us about the season so far, what your thoughts are about Hockey for Life, and maybe what you're expecting from this group for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we're excited to be here again this year. They do a great job putting the tournament on, and obviously getting the opportunity to play the competition that we do. Three big games, 3 tough games in 3 days, and that will be a challenge for our kids. Not only physically but mentally, and we look forward to seeing kind of how we shake out at the end of everything.
So young group that has a lot of success at Bantam level. That's always a good predictor in Minnesota high school hockey. So. And that's all you have from Matt Doman. The phone rang, and it was my color guy yesterday trying to get into the parking lot and figure out how to find me. So anyway, it's going to be an exciting one here. So, Mike, I'm looking out there. Yesterday, there was a team from Stillwater. Today, it's all new players. All of their last names yesterday was Stillwater. Today they're all last name ponies.
I like it. I like it. It's all about the team, obviously, and they want the focus to be on the name on the front of the jersey, I think, as Herb Brooks used to say. So I like it. It's a good little shake-up.
So it's funny, you know, you get into this booth and you go to announce a game, and if there's no last name, which is pretty common in high school hockey, you just kind of flow with it with the numbers. Then when there is a last name, like we have with Lakeville today, that might make it a little bit easier. But when they put something other than the last name, you feel like you were cheated. They took something away. So pause for the anthem.
Tradition Companies is your one-stop shop for all your home and financing needs. From construction, land development, new home builders, mortgages, banking, and wealth management services, the Tradition family of companies has the solution for you. For more information on everything Tradition Companies has to offer, visit traditionco.com. That's traditionco.com.
This is the Tradition Hockey for Life Youth Hockey Hub Tournament. All three coming together to put together a great tournament for us. John Connolly here with Mike Pearson. We are looking out at the ice and about to drop the puck. Stillwater wearing red, white trim, very little black in this set. I like the two-color scheme. And going the other direction in the old logo reminiscent of the Quebec Nordiques. From right to left, wearing white, black numbers, red accents is Lakeville North. So on paper, looks like a great game, Mike.
Looking forward to the game. Yeah, anytime North and Stillwater get together, we can expect a high tempo. I would expect also a physical game. These two hockey teams like to get up and down the ice.
In case you just joined us and you're wondering why we're starting early, the first one was a one-sided affair. Prior Lake played very, very well, and don't let the score deceive you. It was an 8-0 final. Third period was running time. Chaska big over Prior Lake, and as a result, here we're dropping the puck right on schedule at 2:30, maybe starting a tiny bit early. Big wrister and a huge save early. That's off the stick of Stengel. Stengel firing it into the top corner, but Mayer gets the leather out. Mayer was not in goal yesterday. They went with Johnson. Over to my left, it is Brown in goal for Stillwater one more time. Smith is in the face-off circle for the Panthers and would draw one, however, by Stillwater. And scrum along the boards. Eventually, it pops onto the stick of Tussey. Tussey fakes the pass, comes in, tries to shoot this one near side top corner, and chips this one up into the netting. So, Mike, one of the things that I mentioned in the earlier game is what do you do with the lines? And I like trying to get everybody involved. Here we have an example. 24 seconds isn't quite a full shift. You see Stillwater going to the bench, putting out some new guys, getting them a chance to get their legs going. Lakeville sits tight, and they're going to ride this top line for a little bit longer. And what are your thoughts? Maybe delaying the ability to get some of those deeper players a chance to get their legs moving in game action.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting how coaches look at these games and how they want to start, and what kind of tempo they want to set, and who they want to do it against, line matching or not.
Schneider tries to go right up the middle, and he gets pitched. I saw that happen with the Bash Brothers in one of the Mighty Ducks movies.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, early in the game, I think it's good for getting kids in and out quick, get them a touch or two, and get them into the flow of the game.
And notice how they didn't do that here. As now we're 35 seconds into the game. They've gained the zone, and Lakeville North leaves out Smith, Schneider, and Griffin. Very, very interesting early game decision here from, Coach Eigner. Not his first rodeo, but, I kind of would have thought he'd put out some fresh personnel, and banging on the doorstep there is Griffin. They almost score a goal. What do I know? Prior Lake was the last game. I'm sorry. Stillwater with a breakout opportunity, taking it behind the goal. This is Reski. Reski breaking it over far side in front of the benches. It's thrown the length of the ice by Dinar, and we get a face off to the goaltender's left for icing.
Yeah, definitely. Schneider, Griffin, and Smith, strong line for North, have been this year. I think they're the tempo. They set the tone for this team, and so I know Coach Eigner is trying to get them out on the ice early and often to get that flow set for the team, I think, starting the game. So that's the minute shift there.
Connick, Anello, and Ennebeck going to talk a lot about these players, the MASH unit, if you will, and really shed some light for people who may not be familiar with Lakeville North. We had very strong viewership for all of the Hockey for Life games yesterday, but I'm going to go in assuming you might have watched Lakeville if you have an interest in Lakeville, but the Stillwater viewers today would not be familiar. So pardon me if you've heard these stories before, but we're going to talk a lot about some of the early season challenges they've faced for the Panther squad. Stillwater has gained the zone. They're working on a forecheck and lose the puck over to Ennebeck. Ennebeck rink-wide pass doesn't quite connect. It's kept in by Tussey. Short-lived, however, and out to the neutral zone comes Davidson. Davidson gains the zone, loses the puck, and now we're going the other way. Stillwater, long pass onto the stick of Isley. Isley has been the leading scorer to this point in the season, and he had a big game yesterday. Breakout opportunity for Davidson. He's hounded on the forecheck. Tussey is all over him, and Tussey plays this puck over to Isley, back to Tussey. Shot comes from the point. It's a bobbler and never quite makes it to the goal, but Murr got a good amount of stick on it, but then it was deflected by a shot blocker. Kranz goes down to block yet another one, and now it's Ennebeck one more time. Rink-wide pass, nobody home. This goes for icing. So you're familiar with the Lakeville North team, and as you are aware, maybe you can help me fill in some gaps in my story. Over the summer, they were kind of ready for certain things when the season got started. And then A.J. Anello goes down with a gym class injury right before the season. This is his second game, first game yesterday. The puck drops, and then Griffin's injured, Ennebeck's injured, and Smith takes a puck in an awkward spot, and he doesn't come back on the second game of the opener over Thanksgiving. So if I left anybody out, I mean, this is a team that's really trying to get healthy.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, they had a little bit of a sputtering start to the season with injuries, and as you know, the high school season's a short season. Chemistry is important to get started early and often, and this team's still getting their legs under them, and they're still getting that chemistry element put together. So I think their best games are yet to come.
Those pregame thoughts, I think, captured in the interview what Eigner told me when we spoke. He said he felt they were 2 weeks away from really having everyone. Ennebeck is trying to play. He's suffered a torn labrum and needs surgery. They're just postponing. He's going to try to play through it. Griffin's just coming back, not as bad as believed, with a separated shoulder.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things they've been facing, and yep. Smith is back, but he did miss that second game of the opener. So they're feeling as though they're turning the corner, getting close to being healthy. Stillwater on the other side, they really had a dream start to this season. 3 games, no goals allowed. Now they're entering this event 6-0, and competition picks up a little bit. They went down yesterday 4-3, but they've had a softer start with no injury challenges quite like Lakeville has, and really easy time running up. Goaltender entered this tournament with a 96.8 save percentage and a half a goal allowed up before yesterday, and obviously that goals against is going to perk up. He let in 3 goals yesterday or 4 goals against a much stronger St. Thomas team than what they'd been facing in the early going. We're 3 minutes in. Schneider out to the neutral zone. It hops up over the stick of Smith, and he's on the forecheck working against Darby. Darby takes this behind the goal, brings it over near side onto the stick of Scott. Scott through the middle and played off the skate boot, kicking it ahead is Reski. Can't quite reel it in, and now it's Griffin working the other way. Griffin with a stretch pass. How did Smith catch this? What a beautiful pass from Griffin, and it was a little bit too far in front of most players to catch, but somehow knocked it down. And I'm standing next to a baseball player you know, knocking it out of the air, right, Mike?
You got it. That was a nice play. I'm surprised at some of these kids how they take waist-high, knee-high passes and put them down in front of them on the ice.
One of the things since our generation, and it's just obvious anytime you watch a younger level youth game, kids are very adept at playing pucks off their skate blade out to the stick blade, and everybody starts in soccer pretty much nationwide. It's the first sport a lot of kids are exposed to, and there's so many benefits. It's probably the best foundational sport. Steve Nash, NBA MVP, started out as a soccer player, and you know, you just look at the benefits of it. And in my day, if the puck came into the skate boot, rare was the player that could ever get control of it and get it onto their stick blade. 4 minutes in, we're still scoreless. Both teams 2 shots on goal, and here's a stretch pass that's diagonal out of the zone, but hits Tussey and bounces back in. It's obvious in the early going, Lakeville is really trying to set up some verticality with their stretch passes. They're looking diagonally up ice both directions, and we'll see if that works. Obviously, Mike, the longer the passing lane, the harder it is to get something to connect.
No question, no question. And Lakeville has a young decor that's learning their game and learning the high school game a little bit. And so gradually they're going to pick up the better ways to get the pucks up the ice and whatnot. But they're being aggressive and ambitious, which is great.
Stengel on the forecheck. He's working against Munson. Munson with a nice little counter move and comes out of the corner, but he's losing the puck thanks to that strong forecheck by the Ponies. And really, the early going here, I'm very impressed. Doesn't seem to matter who's on the ice in the red jerseys. They've been very good at keeping the pressure on and a very, very strong forecheck. Conversely, if Lakeville gets a goal soon, it's going to probably come in transition. They're really trying to get up ice and come in on a rush. This is Gale. Gale can't get that pass over. Nicely hounded. Great play by Wiley to break it up. Gale one more time plays this one behind the goal line and onto the stick of, do we have a player that didn't play yesterday? I might be missing somebody on my line chart.
Ben Connick, 23.
Oh, Connick is, he is back from yesterday. I think it's Lee that's suited up that didn't play yesterday. And that's
Josh
Lee.
Lee.
Yep, so my apologies, a little confusion trying to compare my notes from yesterday and today. Yes, so Lee is playing number 7. Saw him at the opener, but did not see him yesterday. He's back in the lineup, and he's out there with Weckman and Gale. Behind the goal, surveying the situation is Wiley. Wiley with a pass in front of the benches, but somebody's going off for a line change. That one doesn't quite connect, and it's turned over to Pearson. Pearson's getting corkscrewed back into his own end and plays a pass over to Walenta. Walenta can't find a way out. Strong on the forecheck as it's been all game. Wasco, and I think that's really the story early going, Mike, is just how tenacious that Stillwater Pony forecheck has been.
Stillwater playing a lot of pressure, getting pucks deep, and being relentless on the forecheck. There's no question.
This one's played the length of the ice and back banged out by Brown all the way to neutral. It's picked up by Pearson. He goes D to D. This one's banked off the wall. Weckman hits it, but he's short of the red line by a stride. It goes for icing. We get a stoppage of play. 10:39 remains first period.
Yeah, to your point earlier about the soccer application, you can see the kids out here that do more than just hockey in the off season. You can see the baseball players, the soccer players out there. Pucks in their skates, pucks in the air off their sticks. The athleticism of the modern day hockey player is impressive. The things these kids do with pucks and sticks, really great.
So last game, the quarterback for Chaska, and I guess he's going to play baseball in the spring, is also the goaltender for Chaska. So there's a 3-sport athlete. And the game we've got in the nightcap tonight, St. Thomas, you've got some of the hockey players that are outstanding in other sports. Muzzy Donahue's a golfer, college committed to Boston College, and a couple football players, one headed to North Dakota, and the other one, the Pioneer Press Player of the Year, Brendan McFadden, hasn't quite decided what he's going to do post-high school, but obviously has options. This is a point-blank shot by Smith and a big save by Brown. Nice little 2-on-1. He couldn't quite get the pass off, chose to shoot, and good scoring chance there. Probably the best chance so far this game, and it came off Lakeville North. Scrum in front of the goal. Mayer tries to get the cover, but the puck is a little bit elusive. Stillwater continuing that strong forecheck, and they play a high pass out to Isley. Shot from the wall. This one gets deflected. Huber steered aside by their goaltender Mayer, and now we're behind Gretzky's office. Played out to the top. Big shot from the point and a glove save. Big wrister from Darby.
Yeah, early on, Stillwater's winning a lot of the puck races to the corners. They're taking away a lot of the time and space in the neutral zone, and so far they've made it tough for North to get the puck up the ice and into the other end.
Face-off coming to the right of Mayer. He entered this game with a 2.76 goals against average, 89.4 save percentage. He's faced 4 shots so far, stopping them all. Kranz is in the face-off circle. Draw one, however, by Stillwater. They play this back to the blue line, and looks like I'm missing another player here from my line chart. Let me get caught up in my notes. Number 10 for Stillwater. I don't know that I had him down yesterday. We got our program to bail us out.
Looks like it might be a Benson. Last name Benson.
Benson for Stillwater, number 10, Camden Benson. And I didn't see him as much yesterday. Scoring chance down low, but the last pass doesn't connect. It goes off to the corner. There's a breakout opportunity. Levens plays it out to neutral zone and goes off for the line change. On retreat, it is Benson, the aforementioned Benson, now behind the goal. Plays this one to his defensive partner, Wiley, and they bring it back to Benson. All of a sudden, the puck is on his stick everywhere we go, and I better learn that name quickly. Big hit out at the neutral zone as the puck gets dumped in, and this is Wiley. He is Wiley with a nice counter move there, evading the forechecker, and a nice little chip pass, soft up the wall, and rink-wide pass doesn't get through. Nice forecheck there. Hounding is Anello. Anello played his first game of the year yesterday, and it's good to see him back on the ice. Annebeck out of the corner. Annebeck's first game back yesterday as well after an injury from the opening weekend, and he's just toughing it out. No surprise there, given that his father, Jake Annebeck, was known as a real hard-nosed, rugged player for the Golden Gophers back in the 80s. This one's played down behind the goal. Mayer leaves this one for an overlapping defender. Now out comes Gasparini. Gasparini, back pass into his own end, and a nice pass by Anello. They've worked it across ice, and now they go off for the line change. It's funny, Mike, you can't help but notice how quickly the lines are shifting up for Lakeville. It was interesting how long they left the first line out through 2 whistles to start the game.
Yep, I think they're trying to pick up the tempo a bit. I think the quick line changes, the energy, the up and down the ice, I think North's trying to get the game to play to their speed a little bit more. They've been slow out of the start, but the tempo's getting better.
Raleigh spun around, tried to get a shot off, but when he went to release it, he kind of lost his footing, lost his balance, couldn't release, and crisis averted for Lakeville North. But Stillwater has definitely enjoyed the majority of the zone time to this point. Shots pretty even, 4-3 there on the upper hand there, and we've crossed over into the second half of this, the opening period from Prior Lake. Face-off one and controlled back to Murr. Murr's shot hits a stick and bounces up high, and down is Summery. Summery playing down behind the goal line, and second pass doesn't quite connect. He worked that one through Wells. Out to neutral zone, it's Munson, just a sophomore. He's been very, very impressive. Second-year varsity player here for Lakeville North, and definitely a player to watch. Chipped out to the blue line. Munson with a clap bomber. This one gets deflected down, and now he stands somebody up big and rugged. He lays the hurt there. Nice check. He hits Wells. That allows North to keep the zone, and the shot comes just wide from Schneider down behind the goal, and it's a quick cover from our goaltender, Brown.
Yeah, I think we're starting to feel North pick up the play a little bit, pick up their pace. I think due to the early season injuries, what I've seen from North is they've become a team that gets stronger as the game goes on. The chemistry starts to get better as the game goes on. They get familiar with their line mates, and North's a team that just gets better and better as the game goes on.
Face-off is controlled back to Munson. He's looking for a tip. It goes off the stick of Schandorf and just wide of the mark, but very intelligent play there on the left point. Munson could have taken a shot. A lot of times those get deflected before they reach the goal. Shot that one away from the goal, kept it on the ice. He was looking for Schandorf to deflect it and redirect it behind the goal. Kranz is in the face-off circle. He's squared up, looking eye to eye with Reski. Tries to go chip and chase through the legs. Doesn't come out the way he wanted, but it goes right back to the blue line. It's kept in by Munson. Stillwater brings back behind their goal. Nice short pass over to Darby. Came off the stick of Denar. Snap pass by Darby. Bounces off of Scott. Goes the length of the ice down into the corner, and now heavy on the forecheck is Reski. He's got a head of steam. Evades the check and brings it out to the blue line, not out. However, nice little active stick there by Kranz. Pokes it out to neutral. This is just ripped away. Stealing it and pinching in is Schandorf. Schandorf's a player, you know, Mike, you're a lot more familiar with the Lakeville North team than I am, but I just love that energy when I saw him over in Bloomington at the opener. He really plays with a high compete level.
Yeah, Tommy Shandorf's a fun guy to watch. Plays with a high compete level. He's a big, strong kid, and good around the puck. He's very strong around the puck, wins a lot of puck battles, and makes a lot of great things happen as a result.
This faceoff is going to come to the left of Brown. Anello's back in the faceoff circle. And one of the things I can say for certain is they're not bringing Anello into the team gingerly. He has been thrust into a normal role. He's playing a set rotation. Every third shift you see him out there. So not only is he back, but looks like he's capable of playing. This is game 2, and he's logging a lot of ice time.
You know, looks like he's got his skating legs in pretty good shape, and he seems to be getting up and down the ice pretty well. His dad says his ankle's feeling good, so all good signs.
This is not a good sign right now. We've got Ennebeck, and he immediately throws both gloves off and starts grabbing at his wrist, pointing to his shoulder. That is an area that he's been injured in and is trying to play through, and not a good sign here. He's, I think, been told medically, help me if I'm wrong here, but he's been told he can't really make it any worse, but he's nowhere near 100%, and it's obviously, you know, nice that he's trying to play through it. But it's questionable if he's going to be able to play this season with an injury like that needs surgery.
Yeah, it looks like he just caught a little bit of contact right on that shoulder there, and he's holding it in a way that he might have re-injured it again, which is too bad. He's a great kid, great hockey player, and it's a challenge when you got an injury that kind of holds you back.
Well, it looks like the EMT is going to try to tend to him. We're going to keep an eye and see what's going on here with him. Love it if we see number 21 getting back on the ice in this game. A little bit of a quiet Paul has gone over the stands. Everybody's obviously concerned. You know, he can move. He's you know, it's not a brain or a neck injury, but, you know, nobody wants to see a player missing some of their games. Junior season for him, senior season for odd sequence here. The stick was lost by Griffin. He had to go retrieve it, and if he'd had a stick, they could have sprung him on a breakaway, but instead, everybody's got to tag up to avoid the offside. Tussie enters the zone, brings this one wide on the back end. Centering pass doesn't quite connect. Nice play there to try to bang it off the back of the goaltender, but we get a stoppage of play as the net has been budged off of its mooring. So, Mike, first game, Greg Erickson was in here with me from the Chaska Broadcast Network, and one of the things he heard between periods is that the net goes off of the positioning a little bit more on this rink than it would in another rink due to the fact that the cooling is a little bit compromised because the bowling alley is underneath. So I don't know a lot about rink construction, don't know how to make ice, but it isn't your imagination if the net gets budged a little bit more. I don't think anything will ever compare to the 1984 Olympics from Sarajevo, but I'm kind of wondering, you know, in youth hockey, sometimes you see them spray the water bottle there to try to get it a little bit fixed in with some ice. Centering pass to Gasparini, who can't get it past the goaltender and ends up paying the price. Nice centering pass there, came off the stick of Schneider. Looking for the tip. Another smart play by Munson. You can see why he's a player that's already attracting a lot of attention from higher levels. Second time in the game, he's tried a little pass on the ice off of the net, looking for that deflection around the goaltender. Schneider strong on the forecheck. He's working against 2 red jerseys, but he comes out with the puck. Back to Munson. Snapper goes just wide. He's again looking for that puck below the ankles, trying to get a tip. Stillwater gets it out to the neutral zone and calms the storm a little bit. Chip and chase as it's dumped in off the backhand. I think that was Stengel. We're deep into the period for only having 7 shots on goal. You know, it's 4-3 on the shot clock here, and there's just 4:25 remaining. Did we get a timeout already?
I think we got a slash.
Slash,
looks
okay.
Like Kranz is going in the box for a slash.
Stillwater's going to take the opportunity to have their own timeout, whether it's registered on the game sheet or not, and they talk it up a little bit, find the personnel for this power play, and we have a penalty slashing the call on Kranz, and that can always really set the tone of a game. If Ponies score, obviously that's great, but it would be a big uplift on that Panther bench if the North boys can get a kill.
Penalty's been assessed to Lakeville North number 9, Keith Kranz, 2 minutes for slashing. Kranz, 2 minutes for slashing. Time for penalty, 12:35 of the first period.
They're working it out top with Raleigh on the top of the power play and a couple shooters to the side. It comes from the far side off of the stick of Huber, and it's quickly swallowed up by Mayer. We get a stoppage of play and a face-off to his right. Stepping into the face-off circle. Let's see, am I misreading a number here? Oh, I thought it was 29. It's actually 19, Stengel. nicely broken out to the neutral zone by Lebens. Lebens is on the kill. He's working in concert with DuPont. DuPont's another one of those players. I remember I mentioned earlier Schandorf has a high compete level. Lebens plays very hard as well, and it's no surprise they tab him for the PK duty.
No question. Michael is a competitor. He earned the C actually after the start of the season because of his work ethic and his on-ice, off-ice leadership. Great player.
You know, you follow a team maybe and you're familiar with the sport, but one thing that you usually don't know is just exactly what it's like inside the team culture and what the coaches feel like coaching the different kids. And here's a kid that the coaches obviously love, and it stems from really that infectious effort, hoping that it maybe rubs off on the others. So good story. Didn't realize that, but if he's been at it as the captain and he's earned it through that way, that's definitely a trait that's going to carry him well, not just in hockey, but also through life.
No question. Hard worker.
Oh, they try to work this one over to the backside to Scott, and he can't quite bang it home. Here's a clap bomber. This one's rebound opportunity, and a couple cracks at it there from Stengel. Stengel, Isley, now played over on the blue line to Raleigh. Raleigh back to Isley, surveys the situation. He's got 30 seconds with which to operate on this power play. Big clap bomber into the ankles, and nice play there from Lebens. He says, I've done my job, let me get off. He took a puck right in the skate boot. Pearson doesn't quite connect. He saw Schneider, but Schneider didn't realize that he needed to turn around quickly, and that one goes the length of the ice. No problem is there on the PK, and chance for Stillwater one last time to bring it up ice with just 10 seconds left in this man advantage. Tussie wide, little change of pace behind the goal line, takes it down, and he's going on a guitar solo and still got the puck onto his stick, and eventually says, I'm going to fire this one. Hits the stick, goes up over the glass into the netting.
North's a fun hockey team to watch this year. Young decor in the back. They got 3 sophomores, a junior, and a couple seniors. And so right now we have 2 sophomores on the ice, and it's just a lot of fun to watch these young kids learn the high school game of hockey. A little bit of a transition from Bantam, but great kids doing a great job so far this year.
It's an interesting group. I mentioned yesterday that the future on the blue line looks very bright. They don't have a lot of seniors, just 3 of the top 5 or 6 defense are sophomores and a junior in there with Pearson. So what's interesting is you mentioned coming from Bantam. 2 of them came from Bantam. Munson's a kid that played on the high school varsity last year in 9th grade, and that really takes a lot of maturity to go play against the players that are in many cases up to 3 years older.
Absolutely. Ben made a great transition last year and played well, and actually I think was part of the power play, and so he got tossed into the water, so to speak, and did a great job last year for the North D-Corps.
Gasparini to Schneider, Schneider to Griffin, Griffin over to Smith, and a little deke and a dangle, but standing him up is Brown, and a huge save, best save of the game. Brown keeps this one scoreless, 90 seconds to go in the period.
Wow, what a save. Stick save. I think he got a stick on that. Great move by Caden Smith. Little head juke right there at the net. Got him to move his body, but the goalie got a stick on it and made a nice play on that.
I love the way the goalie challenged him. Brown said, you know what, I'm not going to sit here and watch you do all these dipsy dangle deeks. I'm going to come out there, and he puts a stick on it and swats at it, and puck pops out. So pretty cool stuff there, pretty cool stuff. We have 90 seconds to go in the period. We're still scoreless. It's been a game maybe with a little bit less action toward the goal, a little bit more clogging it up in the neutral zone. We've got 80 seconds to go and still scoreless. Our between period guest, as I mentioned earlier, in case you just joined us, you can catch part 1 of the Ben Hankinson interview. Part 2 will air tonight at 7:30 during the last game.
Nice play by Caleb Mayer there in the nets. Great hand-eye coordination. Like what I see from both goalies so far this game. Very athletic. They're obviously they're great goalies technically, but I love the athleticism I've seen so far from both these goalies.
So that's the first to second period guest, Ben Hankinson. In case you're not familiar with who he is, captain of the Minnesota Gophers, played a little bit in the NHL player agent with Octagon Sports, and he took the time to talk about some of the things, reminiscing that he liked about high school hockey, then talked about some of the essential traits, what kids and parents should be thinking about for players of this age as they possibly, if they're interested, pursue what can be a hockey journey. You mentioned your son's playing in the USHL. Obviously, it's a ever-increasing commitment level required every year you keep playing.
There's no question. There's no question. The longer you keep playing, the higher the level, the more the dedication, commitment, and time involved.
And kind of putting a period on that sentence. Good scoring chance down here for Schneider, but happens at the same time that Smith had lost his helmet. And I don't know that the goal would have counted if he could have got it past him, because they blew the whistle as Smith had lost his helmet. But to put a period on that sentence, the last 2 games tomorrow, if anyone will watch those, the guest is Peter Krieger, who's a 25-year-old senior. He was the leading scorer of all the forwards on last year's national championship team at University of Minnesota Duluth. But that only tells part of the story. If you'd like to hear the rest of it, it's a crazy tale for how he got there, and a long journey. The road goes on forever and the party never ends. You could listen to tomorrow during the Lakeville North Eden Prairie game and also the St. Thomas Prior Lake game. Peter Krieger is our guest between period 1 and 2 with a great message for, players and their parents alike. 20 seconds to go in this period. Out to the neutral zone. Stillwater with one last rush. Tussey with a shot, looking to get this one on goal and sending his line mate in for a rebound. It came out one way, and if it came out a different way, you kind of wonder if he'd have been able to bang that one in. Stengel. As time expires, it's a shot from Griffin off the leather, and this one goes harmlessly into the corner, but a big save there. Yet another from Brown. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break here. Our guest is Ben Hankinson. Enjoy. And John Connolly, I'll be right back with Mike Pearson. We have a great game, 0-0 after 1.
All right, I'm John Connolly here with Ben Hankinson. Ben Hankinson, class of 87 from Edina High. And we're here at Tuttle's. We're going to go over a few things and find out what Ben's up to today. So, Ben, you played high school hockey at Edina, moved on to the University of Minnesota, captain at both places, and today we got a high school hockey game. So why don't you talk a little bit about hockey growing up, what it was like going through it as a player, and then I know you had some kids played as well.
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me, John. John was a 86 Edina High grad.
Really?
So we played hockey together and amongst other sports on the way up, and John played with my brother Peter, who I followed around. And thanks to Peter, otherwise I probably wouldn't be here talking if it wasn't for an older brother that was a good student and a good role model, showing me the way and paving a back alley or a highway right into the University of Minnesota where I went.
So as long as there's some family love going around here, let's not leave out John and Bonnie. Good role model.
If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be
University
here
of Minnesota. So yeah, so high school hockey. You watch it now. You got kids that have been playing, and you played it. So any thoughts just about what it was like putting on the Hornet sweater back in the day?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I played. I lived in St. Louis Park through Squirts. Second year Squirts, actually, we moved to Edina. My dad coached, so I played Edina, Squirts, Pee-wees, Bantams, and then high school, played JV. I was a little bit of a late developer. And like I said, I did follow and watch Peter Hankinson along the way. So I saw him play high school, saw him take that jump. I was on JV, he was on varsity. They won it his sophomore year, and that would have been like, what, 84? They won the state tournament. I was on JV, so I got to the varsity team, and I lucky enough to play, and I want to say we had dominant teams back then, but you look at the kids that are going on to play college now, I think we had like probably 7 Division I players on that team. It was absolutely crushing because we were number 1 in the state, I think, a big part of that year, and we ended up losing to go to we lost to Richfield to go to state that year, and they were obviously an underdog team. They had a goalie, Damian Rhodes, that's been one of the last goalies to go on and have a really solid NHL career. But my years at Edina were spectacular. Played with some great players, got the privilege to play for one of the best people and coaches of all time, Willard Eichla and his wife. Just unreal ability to be, in that environment with those players, Bart Larson and guys like John Conley, who used to have side games up in the stands where you'd keep track of, parents could and players could have odds on who scored the goals, who was, you had all kinds of games going.
Junior year, I did take some bets, offering prop bets, and senior year kind of got a little sideways, but that's a story for another day. So
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America. So it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHL come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
Anyway, you mentioned 7 Division I players. I think I counted, if you took the kids when you were in 11th grade, the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, and there's Notre Dame was transitioning from Division I back to club, back to Division I. So if you include the Notre Dame players, the Division I hockey players, the kids who were 10th grade on JV, I think it was like 16 Division I players, and then one who didn't play Division I hockey, played baseball, but had a couple of years in the AHL anyway.
Yeah,
and
Brendan Maley.
Brendan Maley. So pretty amazing era, and talk to people and they say so much has changed, and I keep thinking not a lot's changed, and went on a spring team up to Winnipeg, and that kind of was a predecessor. John Hoffman was kind of years ahead of the curve with people for what spring hockey and off-season hockey looks like today. And there were some kids, 3 on your high school team, that had come from the West Coast, and those were some of the people that were kind of the leading edge of hockey being in non-traditional markets. And I do know hockey's changed, but you know what, we kind of had a front row seat, and things really had some elements of came even back in the mid-'80s.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and all those guys, like my line mates, were Jimmy Carroll. My junior year, he was co-hockey Minnesota hockey Bloom at Burnsville, and Jay Moore, who was like an unreal crafty forward that had a great career at Denver. And we were probably the second line behind Peter Hankinson and Tim Keel, who played at Notre Dame, and yeah, there was some we had a lot of fun, good teams.
Yeah. Anyway, I always thought that you were destined to be a game show host, Ben, and I used to tell you that all the time. But life had different plans. So let's talk about maybe where things went sideways and what you wound up doing. So I know you've got a real fun career, at least to the outsider. So let's talk about what you do now and some of the things that keep you busy.
So I went and played college and a little pro, and then I transitioned into figuring out, okay, it was 1998. What do I want to do? I went into Piper Jaffray at the time for a couple weeks to get in the stock market, do some trading, and the market was tanking at that time. And I think it was in the summer of 1998. It wasn't doing well, and they wanted me to hold on. My agent at the time wanted me to take a shot at getting into the agent business, and I sat down with Brian Lawton, who had another company that was doing it in Minneapolis here, and I decided to go with my agent, who was out of California, and give it a shot and start recruiting and representing players out of here. And that was in 1998, so that's 20 years ago. And I started out recruiting guys like Keith Ballard, Paul Martin, Wyatt Smith, Eric Westrom, a lot of Gopher players and a lot of Minnesota players, and a lot of guys from out of the state too. So I've been doing the agent thing for now 20 years, and it's been like an incredible run with some incredible players coming out of the state of Minnesota, and picking up players obviously from all over the world.
I think it's great that you bring it to the table, that a lot of the things that are the challenges when hockey becomes a business, you were faced with. I know you had issues of, I think you had a labor stoppage during your NHL career, and I think you had issues with a contract buyout, and a lot of the things that make it maybe the childhood dream of playing in the NHL probably overshot what actually playing in the NHL is, and that's something that you can bring perspective to these players that are on the cusp or in their NHL careers as a player, and having been there yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the toughest part now. It seems to me that kids and probably parents, you could say even more so, don't enjoy the now, and everyone wants to get somewhere else. and you got to be careful, because when you get somewhere else, you may, first of all, never get there. And when you get there, you look back and think, well, where I just was, I enjoyed more because it was a lot more fun. And that includes playing high school hockey, that includes playing college hockey, and it includes, you know, being in the minors, NHL. I didn't have a long NHL career, otherwise I wouldn't be, you know, as good of an agent as I am now, because I had to figure out every side road in to, you know, figure out ways to get things done. And it put me in a position to get in this business and be a little more hungry. But you're right, like the big thing is, like, for these kids is, you know, don't be in such a hurry level, because you need to have that sunshine on whatever level you're at and have success. So then when you go to that next level, you need to pull back on the confidence, or the, you know, the good games you had, or the playing on the, you know, power play, or being a leader, or playing out there the last minute of the game, or, you know, whatever it is that you could contribute and dominate, not dominate, but have success at that level. So when you struggle, you know, it deposits a confidence that you have to go withdrawal again to help you through that next step.
So, Mike, what's that classic line from Fast Times? I don't feel tardy, so my apologies. John Connolly asleep at the wheel here. Went to take an intermission and grab a snack, and guess what? I'm late to get back here, missed about a minute. So penalty has been called. This gives Stillwater a power play. They're setting it out up top, and a little bit of puck movement back and forth. Tussey surveys the situation. Snapper off the post. Raleigh, Tussey, Tussey, Raleigh. Raleigh back to Tussey. He just hit the post from that same spot, Mike, and this time he tries a pass. They're going to try to get the goalie moving laterally.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the special teams. First period, not a lot of penalties, and so Stillwater's getting to show us our power play here right out of the gate, second period.
Fanning on the pass. We've got a minute down, and now retreating back into his own end is Raleigh. Leaves this one to Wiley. So what were you saying?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of energy Stillwater can bring to the start of the period with a power play. See if we can get a number on the board here. So far, it's been pretty even.
Yeah, 0-0 is the score for those that just joined us. After one period, 0-0. And one of the things you and I were talking about is just didn't seem like there was as much action as you'd normally get in a full period of a high school game. And I'm comparing it to 4 games I did yesterday, so it's not like I haven't seen a game for a while. And, oh, big rush here and into the empty net. Boom goes the dynamite. Stengel puts Stillwater up 1-0. It is a power play goal. Stengel puts Stillwater on top 1-0. And, you know, no sooner do I start the sentence about how there really wasn't a lot of action in the first period, just 1 or 2 good scoring chances each way. Stengel lights the lamp. It's a power play goal, and Ponies lead 1-0.
Yeah, to your point, first period, not a lot of shots on net. Seemed like the teams might be feeling each other out a little bit. Now we start with a power play goal here. The second period, it might be a game of special teams. We'll see.
So, Mike, I'm a little behind, but let me get caught up here.
No worries. Interesting time of the season, you know, the holiday break.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to hear the public address. They got it 19 and 18 and 19 from 11. I'm sorry, 19 from 11. Stengel, this is for you. That's Stengel from Isley. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think your comment on the first period came out a little slow, maybe a little flat. Teams playing each other pretty tight. Holidays always interesting. Lots going on. Family, vacation, or they're off school, at the rink. I don't know. I think the boys sometimes drains them a little bit, and it shows up on the ice at times.
Dario's really flying out there. He takes it all the way down to the end wall, and strong on the forecheck as they were throughout the first period. Murr's pinching in from the blue line, plays it over to Stengel. Stengel loses the puck to Griffin. Griffin brings it up in front of the benches. Here's Kranz. Kranz can't find a way out of the zone, and a wicked wrister comes in high, but hits a player and gets knocked down. So let's keep an eye. Number 21 for Lakeville North is Ennebeck. And given what transpired, I don't know that he's going to be able to come back. He was holding the shoulder that he had injured a month ago. So one of the things that we'll look for, Mike, breakaway opportunity, stretch pass to Griffin, coming in all alone, and he is denied. Another huge save by Brown.
Yeah, big save by Brown. So I caught up with Sam Ennebeck's grandfather out in the lobby area, and he's off to the hospital. Get it relooked at again.
Bad news here for the Panthers. I do see Father Jake is still on the bench, one of the assistant coaches for the Panthers. Anello in the face-off circle. Draws one, however, by Stillwater. They do a wrap pass all the way over to our side, bringing it out to the neutral zone. This is Reski. Reski in pursuit, works against Munson. Munson turns it over right to Reski, and that hounding Pony forecheck doing a great job of keeping zone time anytime they get down into the Lakeville North end.
Yeah, no question. Stillwater really getting after it, and the getting pucks deep and really getting after the pucks and not giving North a lot of space on their breakout. And so far, Stillwater's been winning those races to the puck, so to speak.
Has been called. It's a trip on Stillwater's number 5, Huber.
So we'll get to see the North power play. We saw Stillwater right out of the gate in the period. They took advantage of their opportunity. It'll be interesting to see what North can do on the power play, see if they can't square this thing off at 1.
Penalties and assists to Stillwater's number 5, Logan Huber, 2 minutes for elbowing. That's Huber, 2 minutes for elbowing. Time of penalty, 4:20 of the second period.
Huber 2 minutes for elbow. And Mike, one of the things they measure on the PGA Tour is a stat called bounce back. After you make, and it was supposed to be a goal there for Griffin, but he didn't catch enough of the puck, and it's a huge save. Another cover by Brown. But back to the PGA Tour, how often after you make a bogey do you make a birdie? I guess the hockey equivalent would be Lakeville North has given up a goal. How quickly do they respond, and can they come right back and score? Here's a power play opportunity just after giving one up. A great chance to equalize this at 1-1.
No question. Momentum, a big thing in any sport, whether it's golf or hockey, and this is a big momentum opportunity for North to get a puck in the net.
Played down deep into Smith, out top to Munson. Munson does a great job of keeping that puck low, and there's a loose puck, a bunch of guys whacking at it, and it's a Stillwater defender that had it covered, not the goaltender, so there is no whistle, and eventually we get a stoppage, but the puck's over in the corner.
Yeah, you can see North, they're putting a lot of traffic in front of the net, and they're Munson up top just trying to get a puck down low and let the bodies do their work in front of the net and try and get a puck in the net. Strategy's working. They're getting their opportunities right in front of the net, but, Stillwater, give them credit. They've been managing to keep the North sticks out of that scoring area.
Smith is in the face-off circle. Over to his left is Pearson. Out top in the shooter spot is Griffin, and it went right under his stick. I was watching him there looking for that puck. They passed it to him, but he couldn't get his stick adjusted to pull this one in. Munson, red line, blue line, gains the zone, loses the puck, and it's thrown the length of the ice. Nice job so far on the penalty kill. There's only 1 minute left in this man advantage. Stillwater's done a very good job, and in the second period, it can be very difficult to get your personnel off, but they just got their 2 forecheckers off on the penalty, even though they're defending the goal furthest from their bench. Here's a little bit of a foot race, and there's an interference call. Interference on Munson. Ooh, soccer continuation. He would have loved to get that semi-breakaway. Soccer, you're not gonna get the whistle there. I don't know that Munson ever had possession. So, good break, bad break. They, well, what?
Wait a minute.
What? No wonder there was a whistle. Penalty's not for interference on Munson. What do I know? Isley hook. Did you see that?
I did not see that, John. I was with you. I was wondering what the whistle was about when Stillwater put a stick on it. So I was as surprised as you were.
That was interference, but obviously there was some other event that occurred leading to the hook that we did not see. So play continues 5-on-3. It's back to Griffin. Griffin plays this one right back onto the stick of Pearson, and this shot goes just high by Smith. Schneider pulls this off the wall. Smith, Schneider, snapper, outside of the post, and play continues, but now my ears are ringing.
Spencer Schneider, one of the best wrist shots in Minnesota boys hockey. He can shoot the biscuit.
It's funny you say that because it was that first goal in the opener, and I was talking about the wrist shot's a dead shot. You don't see it anymore. The equipment today, players are really taught that snapshot. Slappers are really dead. I mean, you get a one-timer, but not a lot of guys waving the flag, taking that big clap bomber like they used to. But we were at the foundation of your shooting was the big wrister, and he let a wrister go, laser, major laser, top corner, and any other player in Minnesota fires that big snapper. And boy, it was a joy to watch because a little bit of an old school, even though he's got the new equipment, he does have a big wrister.
He does. Spenny's fun to watch shoot the puck. He's been around the high school team for this is his fourth year. He played as a freshman, and so I've got to watch Spencer Schneider play the last 3 or 4 years, and he has always been a player who can shoot the biscuit. He's fun to watch when the puck's on his stick. They will certainly try to get it to him here on the power play, no question.
First penalty has expired for Stillwater. That's 1 minute to go in the second one, and that would be huge if they could kill both of these penalties and keep the lead, maintain that 1-0 advantage.
No question. Right now for Stillwater, it's a matter of perseverance going from the 5-on-3, now the 5-on-4, just trying to survive this quick rash of penalties they have. North getting a lot of momentum, getting some good puck movement here, and getting some opportunities.
That won't quite take care of it, but with 35 seconds left, Munson's on retreat, and Stillwater's done a very good job killing these two minor penalties, both called about 1 minute apart.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about momentum. Certainly Stillwater seemed to carry most of the momentum the first period. Second period here has been more about special teams, and some of the momentum boost I think North has needed is coming through this opportunity, power play opportunity. They're not getting a puck in the net yet, but you can kind of feel some of the momentum tilting their way a bit.
Anello's in the face-off circle, and he looks eye to eye with Stillwater's, I think that's Reski. I can't quite tell the 20 and the 21 unless, yep, it is Reski. Can't quite tell unless I get a good clean view of their back, and from our vantage point, I'm usually just kind of seeing them from the side. Play continues. Anello enters the zone, and they whistle it down offside. Just 13 seconds left in that Lakeville North extended power play. So we had one in the first game today, Mike. Both teams had a major penalty called against them. So Prior Lake killed when it was called on them. However, when Chaska had the major penalty called on him, two shorties. Like, whoa, we're looking to maybe get some momentum back, turn the tone of this game. And what a great way to do it with 5 going up on the board. And they gave up 2 shorthanded goals and didn't score any. It was just kind of indicative. They were snake bit. Back to this action, and there's a huge snapper. He's trying to kick it in. You see that? He couldn't get his stick down, and you had Reski using both feet trying to get that puck over to his stick blade. He was trying to take a little kick at it, but sneaking in to get the cover is Mayer.
Yeah, good job at the North D court to just tie guys up and let Caleb get a glove on that, no question. Yeah, I saw that. Those shorties, I had to look up the scoreboard twice. I walked into the rink and saw Chaska score, and I had to decide which team was on the power play and who was killing it. They were opportunistic, no question.
Both goals by Shane Laval, by the way. 2 short-handies on 1 5-minute major penalty by the same player, Shane Laval, and one of them was unassisted, which gave me an opportunity to unleash my famous unassisted short-handed goal call. Hopefully we get one of those again this weekend and I can pop that out again. 9 minutes to go. We're coming up on the midpoint of this game. It's 1-0. It's still anybody's game, but at this point it is the Stillwater Ponies leading the Lakeville Panthers 1-0. Gale with a shot over into the corner, and the first one to arrive on the scene is Isley. Isley had an assist on that lone goal. It was scored off the stick of Stengel. Pardon me as I'm having trouble breathing here. Murr made a beautiful play to take this one out of the zone. Nice little evasive move there by the defender. Juked and jived past the Lakeville forecheck and got Stillwater down momentarily before we get an icing call the other way. So we're into the second half of the game. Shots are at 11-9 Stillwater. And one of those 2 shots that are the differential, Mike, is the difference on the scoreboard. Ponies leading Lakeville 1-0. So let's start getting in the head of the coaches on the bench. So imagine you're part of the Lakeville contingent. Coach Eigner and his staff. Happy with the way things are going, or do you think they maybe need to start looking at some game adjustments? I've noticed very few of those stretch passes attempted this period.
Yeah, you know, I think right now, I think they're talking about getting pucks to the net, trying to find some traffic, getting traffic in front, and just finding a way to get a dirty goal right now just to get on the board and start creating some positive momentum.
Flip the script. What about Coach Matt Damon over on the other side for Stillwater?
Well, I think they're thinking, hey, we're in a pretty good place. We just killed off a 5-on-3 and a 5-on-4. Let's try and stay out of the box and get back to doing what we were doing in the first period.
Wells with a big scoring chance there, and Wasco follows it up. Big rebound, and boy, oh boy, you know, this looks like the team that gave up 0 goals in their first 3 starts. And I know the competition's picked up a little at Hockey for Life, but Stillwater Ponies have played very, very well. And, you know, if it was a game that, you know, if it's not a knockout and it goes to the judges' scorecards, they might get this one maybe, you know, by a point or 2. So now it's a nice little spin move here from the defender Benson, and Shots knocked down, however, by Griffin. 2-on-1 opportunity with a trailer. They hit Smith trailing, and tick-tack, but no boom. This one is moving around that triangulation nice. And I was put to the task earlier, had my color commentator from that Shaska broadcast network asking me, oh, tell me about Edina. I haven't seen them yet. And I was hesitant to say anything because they play each other tomorrow. Shaska and Edina, I didn't want to make a prediction. But if you stick around till 7:30 tonight for that last game, that Malmquist, Jungles, Nevers line, they passed just like that. Only difference is last night they were all going in the back of the net. They were really firing, and they were pretty impressive. And that line had 4 goals. So here's Stillwater's Raleigh, 6:49 remaining. Oh, he cranks it up, and nice little change of pace there, shifting gears, and he kind of went into overdrive, and really that spurt allowed him to separate. And look at this, they've gained the zone, and they're on that really devastating forecheck. They are just swarming.
They are definitely. Stillwater's been getting to the puck all day long and really getting to those corners quickly and winning a lot of those battles. To your point earlier on that, that was a great looking play North had on that rush. And with the amount of shots that they're generating right now being very few and far between, they're going to have to find a way to capitalize on those opportunities.
He gets crumpled. There's no arm up from either referee. There's no question that he was checked straight onto the back. One of the things that I'm a firm believer in player safety. At the same time, when they're only exposing their back and you're flush up against the boards, you can't pin them up there, and that's what happened. Scott went down like just a crumpled. Well, it looks like he got up just as quickly as he went down. Mike, I'm a little baffled here. He went down like he was never going to get up, and then he got up like nothing happened. So a little confused at what's gone on here. But nonetheless, no call, stoppage of play. 6:13 remains. Ponies leading the Lakeville North Panthers. And to your point there, Lakeville North had a great scoring chance in transition. Tic-tac, but no boom. Smith, Schneider, and Griffin were connecting, and they seem to be very content trying to get their goals on the zone entry rushes.
So far, that seems to be the case for North, for sure.
There's another style of play, which is kind of a ground and pound, and you hit the red line dump at chase and try to beat you to death, and they're really not employing any of that style at all. Really, it's all an attempt to try to do stuff in transition. Working the other way, Wiley passes this one over to Tussey, and now it seems to be on everybody's stick from the Ponies. All 5 players have touched it in just the last 6 seconds. Out to the neutral zone. Here's Wiley. Wiley in retreat, pushes this one forward, and he hits Tussey. He gets cranked up in the neutral zone, and Tussey's a player. When we look at the star power here, Mike, you can't help but notice the difference between the committed and the uncommitted players. You watch a game, there's not a whole lot of difference maybe, but Tussey's an interesting one. He's a commitment to the University of Minnesota before. This is from the Lucia regime. I think he committed maybe even before 9th grade started. He's just a sophomore, and he's got plans to continue his hockey at Minnesota. Conversely, the player that's committed for Lakeville North, he's a senior, more of a recent commit, and he continues that path. There's almost like a well-trodden road from Lakeville North to Bowling Green in Ohio.
Spencer Schneider, definitely great hockey player. His brother Taylor's at Bowling Green right now. Max Johnson from Lakeville North is there as well. And
Eigner.
Eigner. Yep. You have Eigner as one of the coaches there, so definitely exciting opportunity for Spencer.
And just to get a little bit sideways here, you mentioned over our break that your son has recently given his college commitment, and I will, as a University of Minnesota graduate, I'm going to pull from Michigan, now that they got your son there. And the other reason, Edina grad coaching the team. So
yeah, there you go, Mel Pearson.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Mel's a great guy.
Yeah, so a little older than me. I don't know him, but it is nice to see as the coaching tree has continued and spread out. So tying it all together, Will Reichel played for University of Michigan, went on to be the Edina coach, coaches Pearson, and now Pearson is the coach of University of Michigan, and everything kind of comes together. So 5:02 remains. Let's focus on some hockey here for a little bit, and then we'll talk about some notable graduates of these fine institutions. And our second period intermission upcoming. The between period guests you will enjoy: Shane Griffin and Josh Lidke. Lidke's not here this weekend, but we had such a good interview on one of the top defensemen from the state that ran over Thanksgiving. Going to re-air that one. He's a senior defenseman for state champions last year, Minnetonka, banging at the doorstep twice. Beautiful scoring chances down low from Dinar, but we're seeing some strong goaltending now from Mayer. Those were 2 huge saves. Puck's onto the back of the net. Play continues, and turnover here as they try to play it out to the blue line. A nice little active play here, chipping it out. This is it Heckman? What's the 15?
15, that would be Weckman.
Weckman,
Yep.
Weckman. It's one of the players that I think he was not dressed yesterday. They're rotating in some of the players that get a chance to play, and I don't know that Weckman suited up yesterday, but we have Weckman out there today, and he's out with Levens. Levens, mentioned earlier, really did a great job in his assignment to penalty kill when he was out in the first period. Down low, backhand chance. This one just misses by Reski, and he fights a battle down into the corner and ruggedly checked along the wall. Munson hasn't, tripping. Munson hasn't maybe filled out yet like he will, but he's not afraid to throw the body around.
Ben will play the body. He's an aggressive, strong, young defenseman, and very talented. Fun to watch him play.
So Stillwater's an old community, and they've got a high school for a long, long time. So let me just blitz through some of these. So one of the teachers on staff at Stillwater is Chris Engler, NBA player, 7-footer. Talked about him yesterday. Dennis McDonough graduated from Stillwater, went on to become the White House Chief of Staff. I can't remember which president, but found that on Wikipedia. An actor from Mad Men, played the character Henry Crane, is Rich Summer, also a graduate of Stillwater, as well as the author E.E. Knight. That's just a partial list. We'll get back to more of those when we hit the next whistle. Power play opportunity. This is important with 3 minutes, 40 seconds left in the period. Lakeville has a power play opportunity, and they would love to get one here to knock this up 1-1. They trail 1-0 as it is.
No question, big momentum opportunity here for North at the end of the period to try and get something going in their favor.
Gasparini gains the zone, leaves a drop pass down to Schneider. This one's fired by Stillwater, but it's a mitt from Munson that knocks this down. Munson plays hockey. His father played baseball, and you almost wonder if that's something he might have done playing catching his dad in the backyard. Knocking it down with his mitt, keeping it into the zone. So a couple other graduates of Stillwater. The first journalist ever to reach the South Pole. He's a photographer, graduated from Stillwater, Thomas Abercrombie, and a ragtime pianist, notable ragtime pianist Butch Thompson. So those are some of the most interesting Stillwater graduates. Not to be forgotten, one of the Mash brothers, Fulton Reed, is from Stillwater, so I am somebody who is an absolute maniacal fan of the Mighty Ducks, and one of the Mash brothers, I think they've said that his town, Fulton Reed. Oh, there it is. Boom goes the dynamite, and we are tied. Smith on the back door takes that pass. I believe that came in from Schneider on the point.
It did.
Diagonal pass down low, and Smith, and we are tied.
Great heads-up play by Spencer Schneider up top there to get that puck down low to Caden Smith.
You know, the game's been well played both ways, and I know the shot count has ticked up here where the Ponies have 20 and there's just 10 for Lakeville, but I just kind of, my spidey senses were tingling, and I thought, you know, this is a game that feels like it should be tied going into the third. We've got 2:52 remaining in the second period, and right now it is 1-1. One other assist that's tacked on there, the second assist, is Munson. Munson passes it to Schneider. Schneider down low on that weak side back door. Smith tips this one in, and we are tied. Davidson breaking it out through the middle. And Nello, he does not show any signs, Mike. He shows no signs of having been out. He's moving around quite well today.
He's a quick skater. That's his MO. He gets around the ice pretty quickly. I saw his dad in the period break and asked how the ankle was doing. He said 100%. He feels great.
He's also a charming and witty guy. He will be the host of the interview segment, filmed with Shane Griffin. You don't want to miss it. That will air in just a few minutes. Played back to the blue line, kept in by Stillwater's number 2, Raleigh, down along the wall. There's a scrum. Big hit here. Raleigh doing everything he can on Connick to keep the puck in, and he somehow manages. Doesn't look like this has popped out to the neutral zone yet. Finally, it comes out, and all of a sudden the physicality has picked up this shift. You and I are noticing the same thing.
I'm feeling it. I was just going to say that. The physicality all of a sudden picked up. I think Stillwater picking up their sense of urgency now that North got the power play goal.
These guys, you know, maybe not too familiar with each other first period. We get to the end of the second period. They've been around each other long enough to learn they don't like each other.
Yeah, you can feel it, and you love it. You love it because it's just adding another element of that energy to the game. It's fun to watch.
The energy, and, you know, not to be too critical. Games kind of take on a life of their own, but it's the energy that was lacking first period. For whatever reason, it just seemed a little flat in here. And, boy, if the last shift is any indication, 1 minute to go, folks, 1 minute to go in the second period. If the last shift is any indication, this is something where we're going to have a great closeout to this one when we come back for period 3. Strong on the forecheck. Stengel is hounding, and couple scoring chances from Tussey, and oh, I can't believe the puck's not in the back of the net, but eventually it's pushed under the leg of Meyer, and wowza, 49 seconds to go. We're still tied 1-1.
Big save by Caleb on his backside, and showing again his athleticism to find a way to get a leg and a pad on that puck.
Wow, you know, the part as an announcer you just hope for is a good game. And if a team scores, you want the other one to get it just to keep the game more interesting longer. Kind of like I had last night with Moorhead. It was like, you know, one or two goals back and forth, back and forth. This is something where, you know, I was just dying to get a good high-energy game. The first one, the margin was 8-0. It was a much closer game in terms of the gameplay, but Prior Lake was, let's just say, snake bit. You know, they walked around in black cats, crossing their path everywhere they went. But, oh, man, I don't want to resurface. I want them to just go straight to the third. Can't wait for how this one wraps up. Schneider enters the zone, brings it wide, working against the defender, who rides him out into the corner. And centering pass doesn't quite connect. Nice play here by Huber along the wall. He's done a great job defensively this shift. And now they're breaking it over. Summary with a pass. This one doesn't quite connect. And now we're out to the neutral zone. 20 seconds to go in the period. And this is chipped and chased by Wells. Wells sends Dario in pursuit. And now they break it out in front of the benches, but pinching in to hold the line is Huber. This one's down into the corner. Chance for Davidson to find a path out of the zone. And back to the blue line. Big shot. This one's deflected down. Stray puck down in the slot. Kicked out to the point, and as time expires, it's shot by Huber. And you know what? I think more happened in the last shift than we've seen in the first 10 minutes of the period, Mike.
We're hoping for 15 minutes or 17 minutes of what we just saw the last 2 minutes. That last period was good right at the end, and I'm sure it's going to carry over into the third period. It'll be fun to watch.
Wow, we've got a great one. We have a great one. We're 2 periods in, and all of a sudden the energy level has just been amped up. You know, I'd say to a whole nother level, but it's even one level above that. So he's Mike Pearson. I'm John Conley. We're going to kick it over to our producer Justin. Justin is going to walk us through the between period interviews, and I've been a naughty boy. I'll do my part to make sure I don't miss the first minute of the third period. I'll make sure I get back a little quicker. No more food to eat, no more snacks. So thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm AJ Anello, here with senior captain Shane Griffin at Lakeville North Arena. We're going to play a little game here. I need 2 lies and a truth from you.
All right, number 1, it would be I met Juice WRLD at an airport, and I helped him with some lyrics and songs coming in January. I won the pickleball championship for my age group, like out of the whole world. And then I would say my third one would be I stepped on a nail when I was like 10, and I almost died from it. I had to get a tetanus shot, but it was a close call.
We'll come back to that. Favorite place to vacation or any place in mind?
I'd say Italy. I heard they got great pizza and some girls.
You like the food there?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can use it, but
yeah,
I mean,
I like pizza.
Yeah. How about music-wise? What's your favorite music to listen to before games or?
I'm gonna have to go with rock. My boys from Australia, AC/DC, Thunderstruck, that gets me going a little bit.
You like the head banging,
gets
like
me going.
Finger, that stuff? Yeah. Celebrity crush, how about that?
Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood? I don't know if
nice to look at.
Mike Fisher might not be too happy about that.
We'll see who's stronger. Mike Fisher better watch out, huh?
You like how she looks on Sunday Night Football singing that?
His favorite part.
Oh, yeah. How about the best thing about Lakeville North girls?
I'd say they're all pretty smart, athletic.
Could they say the same about
they
you?
They smell pretty fruity too.
Would they say the same about you?
Probably not. Definitely not the smarts.
Yeah? All right, we'll take a little break and come right back.
The Minnesota Blizzard offer fall midget teams playing at the highest level for 15s, 16U, and 18U. For more information, please visit our website.
AJ and Ello back with Shane Griffin at Lakeville North Arena. So you told me 2 lies and a truth. You told me Juice WRLD at the airport helped you, or you helped him with some lyrics.
Yeah.
You stepped on a nail when you were a kid and it went through your foot. And you won a world national championship in pickleball. I think your truth's gotta be stepping on that nail.
Yeah, I almost died.
What happened?
You know, we were playing some night games. I was about 12 probably, and tornado cell, I jumped down, nail went through my foot, rushed to the hospital. Doctor said it was a close call.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's tough. Glad you're still walking.
Yeah, me too.
That's it on this segment. Thank you for watching.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America. So it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
Live at Maynard's on Lake Minnetonka. I'm your host, Grant Doctor, and we're here with Minnetonka's defense all-star, Josh Lidke, number 3. So we're going to start out to get to know him a little bit. He's kind of a cool guy, so everyone wants to know him. We're going to start out with 2 lies and a truth. Josh, try to stump me.
All right. First thing here is I'm related to Jared Spurgeon, actually, which is he's a great guy. So
I can see the resemblance.
Yeah. Another thing is that I vacationed at Jamaica with my family. It was a fun time. And then the third thing would have to be that I've never broke a bone in my body. Always healthy, so.
We have some traffic coming through, but we're going to get back to that question after break.
Since 1998. Excelsior has helped Maynard's in a lot of different ways in our growth and just our ability to maintain, you know, a consistent level of business. Our staff kind of sets the tone right when you walk in the door that people are here to have fun. We try to provide just kind of a casual atmosphere for people to be with friends, be with family, and just enjoy themselves. A lot of people seek out the lake and the restaurant. A lot of our regular customers love to bring all their out-of-town friends here. You know, friends from out of town, we got to take them to Maynard. Any college kid that comes back, this is sometimes they always stop here before they even make it back to their house. They know they're going to get a good meal at a good price and good service, and people make memories here. It's been a positive experience for my family and I, and one we look to continue on.
All right, just go ahead. So Josh, what's your favorite spot to vacation?
I'd have to say my favorite place to vacation is probably the Boundary Waters. Yeah, just the fishing there is great. It's a fun spot.
Big outdoors guy?
Huge outdoors guy, so.
Love it.
Love it, yeah.
It's good stuff. So Josh, we know you're kind of a music fanatic here. We know you like a lot of good new music, but you gotta go, what's your favorite type of music you listen to?
I'd have to say I'm a huge Miley Cyrus fan. If I had to pick a favorite song, I'd say The Climb. super motivational song. Gets me going. Great tune.
I actually don't know that song. Could you maybe like show us how that goes a little bit, or give us a little preview?
I totally would, but my throat's a little sore today, so maybe I can show you after.
We get some water for you from somewhere. But, so Josh, we're going on to the most important question here, I think. What is your celebrity crush?
That's a tough one. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say Phyllis from The Office. She's just, she's a lovely lady, so yeah, that's my answer.
That's great. I mean, she's always on top of her work. She's just a great gal. I love it. And so, we know you're dating a girl from Tonka right now, so you can't say anything bad, and you gotta be honest here. What's the best thing about Tonka girls?
I think the best thing about Tonka girls is their humor. We've got a lot of funny girls at our school, so yeah, they're all great to hang out with. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So we're gonna go to break, and we'll be right back. So Josh, played in a lot of rinks over your career here. What's your favorite rink to play at?
There's a lot of good rinks in Minnesota, but I'm gonna have to say Pagel. It's nice and cold and just a great environment to play in.
Yeah, good student section?
Huge student section.
Huge student section?
Yeah.
Hope to be good this year too?
Yeah.
All right, Josh. So now that we're back from break, we gotta get back to your 2 lies and a truth. So, me knowing you a little personal level here, I don't think you're related to Jared Spurgeon, even though you look identical, pretty much identical. And I did know you have been to Jamaica before, and so I'm gonna have to go with that's the truth.
Yep, that's the truth. I have been to Jamaica, so you got
right
me.
on, man.
Yeah, you got me.
All right, so that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in, and this has been Josh Lidke, Minnetonka's all-star defenseman.
Thanks for having me.
Good job.
We're here live at Maynard's on Lake Minnetonka. I'm your
John Connolly joined by Mike Pearson, and boy, do we have a game for you. It's 1-1 going into the third period, and the last 3 minutes of the period were just as thrilling as it gets. So it really is good of a period as the stuff we saw, the good as of a close to the period as the hockey we saw yesterday. So I know we're both looking forward to the third period here.
Absolutely. Play picking up at the end of the second period. Fun to watch. You could see the teams kind of getting gritty and getting after each other a little bit after whistles, and so obviously they're both getting hungry. Third period will be fun to watch.
So I made it through some of the graduates from Stillwater, and I need your help here. So, Wikipedia is pretty light, so either people need to go in and edit Wikipedia, or maybe nobody really all that notable has graduated from Lakeville. But, staying away from sports, composer Bradley Ellingbo, I think, went to one of the Lakeville high schools, either North-South or Lakeville, before they split. And then, worldwide, the baby blue boxes, everybody knows Tiffany. In the Twin Cities, it's the purple one, the little lilac-covered box. That's the Bachman family, and I'm pretty sure Wiz Bachman would have graduated from Lakeville. I know she's married to Hugh McCutcheon, and an Olympic volleyballer in her own right. So I try to stay away from athletes, but, geez, it's hard to find any alumni from Lakeville on Wikipedia. So I hope people go in next time I do a Lakeville game, if there is something like this next year or later this season, and edit a little. So am I missing anyone? Anybody notable that's gone on to do things in their life outside of sports that's from one of the three Lakeville high schools, Lakeville or Lakeville North or South?
Well, that's a good question. I think I've been enclosed in hockey rinks the last, and I've been absolutely oblivious to the rest of the world and what's happening out there.
So we got some fun ones. If you want to hear some real fun ones, I went to Edina and I was shocked by some of the things I learned when I went out to Edina's Wikipedia page for Edina High School, and got some real fun ones in the nightcap tonight, 7:30. So we've got two more games today after this one. Eden Prairie plays Moorhead, and the late nightcap is Edina versus St. Thomas. But we don't know who's going to win game 2 out of the 4 today. Dropping the puck, and now all of a sudden streaking in, somehow picking it up is Tussey. Tussey comes out for this period with something to prove, and tied 1-1. Ponies quickly take the zone and get a shot toward the goal. It actually gets knocked down by their own teammate Isley. Knocks this one down, but he picks it up, takes it out to the blue line, and manages to keep it on his stick against Griffin, and his shot goes just wide near side to the benches. Didn't miss by much. Another one whipped to the net, and if there's any message that was imparted on the players between periods, judging from what I just saw, is, guys, we got to take command at the beginning, skate hard, get pucks to net, and we're just going to suffocate them. 22-10 is the shot advantage. I'm guessing that's the message from Matt Doman.
For sure, 2-1 on the shots, and right out of the gate, Stillwater comes buzzing. Tussey leading the way.
Interesting about that, Tussey came in from the wing, right? The center took the draw, and I love it. And this is my son's nemesis, his Achilles, his weak spot. Sometimes in youth hockey, not always getting involved in the shift early on. So as a squirt peewee player, when he wasn't center, I said, try to win the draw from wing. Like, it'll get your feet moving to start the shift. We saw that from Tussey. The puck is dropped, and all of a sudden, the guy streaks through, picks up the puck, he's off to the races. Tussey didn't sit back and wait for the play to unfold and then go do something. He said, I'm going to make the play happen. And wow, this suffocating forecheck leads to a scoring chance. Fanning on the shot was Dinar, but it was it wasn't an easy shot, one-timer to get off, but it was a pass over to Dinar, and he was firing into a goal that the goalie couldn't get the adjustment. And Stillwater is very impressive to start this period. They have not taken a lead yet, and now the question is, can the Lakeville North Panthers respond?
Yeah, your point on Tussey winning the draw off the wing there. Quick feet. I watched him skate on that shift. I've been kind of keeping an eye on him since you talked about him earlier in the game. Quick feet reminds me a little bit of Noah Cates, how he gets around the ice, a former Stillwater player. Playing up at UMD right now.
They have a hockey team?
UMD's got a hockey team. Actually, Cates over there with the World Juniors right now, and I think they're playing tonight.
Funny you should mention that in case you'd like to catch a fantastic between-period interview. Peter Krieger, the leading scorer of all the forwards on last year's UMD National Championship team. He was my guest. We filmed it a couple days ago. That will air tomorrow between the third and fourth game. So it's so good, I'm going to run it twice. And what a great story. Peter Krieger, great story for UMD to, barely get into the tournament and win the national championship. If any kid needs some inspiration, you might have heard this kid or that kid got committed to college when they were 13, 14, 15 years old, and you put in all this time and you wonder what it's all for. It just shows, and also tomorrow, Luke Peronovich, another between period guest. You guys want to, really get in the right frame of mind. Hey, you continue to improve, and the sky's the limit, and Peter Krieger is living proof of that. Back to the action here, 15 minutes to go in the period, and ringing it out to the blue line, and out for the neutral zone regroup. They play it to Tussey. Tussey plays this one over to Wiley, and overlapping pass to Tussey. Tussey's a player that just seemed to come out between periods and say, you know what? I am going to go home, and I want everybody to know my name. He is flying around, and he is going to make an impression on this game come hell or high water. Shot gets deflected just wide, played back to the point to Wiley. This cuts both ways, however, Mike. The disappointing part is, even though it is 22-11 in the shots, and they have been suffocating with that forecheck, they don't have a lead, and that's demoralizing. If all of a sudden they get a bum steer here, it might be tough for them to bounce back, and now we see Schneider with the puck. It may just take one little crack in the door for Lakeville North to kick it open.
No question. How many times have you watched a hockey game? You see the shots 2-1, 3-1, and you got a really competitive hockey game. And fans and players are both scratching their head going, how is this still a competitive hockey game?
And I didn't catch it last night, obviously being here, but Minnesota Wild, I think it was 50 shots on goal and lost 5-2 or something like that. So might learn a little bit more about that talking with the late night crew tonight that's coming in for color was at that game. But yeah, it's a fun one. It's a good storyline here. 22 shots on goal for the Ponies, but they've only scored one goal, and we are tied. 14 minutes to go in this one. Anello, nice couple passes over along the wall and chipped out to the neutral zone by Gale. Gale falls down as he tries to dump it in, and everybody tags up. They play it over to Schandorf. Schandorf drops this one down to the end line, and a little chip up here from Murr. Murr plays it over in front of the benches, and nice play by Schandorf. He's got a high work rate and manages to keep this one in. And for one of the few times this game, it's a suffocating forecheck from Lakeville. We're used to seeing this today from the Ponies.
No question. This is a forechecking line for Lakeville. They got some speed on this line with Gale Schandorf, and
terrible break there for Lakeville North. Murr started skating, and he gets tripped up. I think he signaled slash, but it looked like a trip. Gale just had his stick down. The player skates over it and does a digger right, face first into the ice. And tripping the call, this gives Stillwater a power play, brings the face-off back down into the Lakeville end. And with 13-14 left, going off for Lakeville is Gale.
Yeah, no question. You talked earlier about the shots on goal. I watched that Wild game last night, 40, 50 shots on net. You get one puck in the net, and I tell you what, it can be a head-scratcher after a while. You start wondering, how do you score? What do we have to do?
You watched a Wild game? Did you not know? YouthHockeyHub.com. Edina, Moorhead with a lead, and then they gave up the lead and another lead. Wow, what a back and forth. You probably couldn't handle the drama. My mom was telling me a lot of people in the emergency room with heart attacks or hospital admission. You know what? You'd have had one watching that game if you had a weak ticker. So back to the action here. 20 seconds have rolled off this power play, and Stillwater's trying to gain the zone. They have regained possession of the puck. Bringing it in is Wiley, and right in front of the benches, there's a little blue line move there, triggering an offside call.
Well, hey, Twitter doesn't do it justice, but I did have an idea what was going on at the rink last night, but Twitter does not bring the drama and all of the fun and the excitement and enthusiasm that you just talked about.
Oh, if you were getting Twitter updates, you probably experienced most of it. It was a hairy one. So the game was at one point 4-3. Edina scored first, second, sixth, and seventh goals. There were three in the middle from Moorhead, and I likened it, if you remember the 87 and the 91 World Series, the Twins won both of them the same way, only winning at home. The ebbs and flows with big swings, taking a 2-0 lead and then falling behind 3-2. We had that in the Edina game last night, and late game heroics by a very certain tall forward, number 17, Brett Shorsky. Edina was down 5-4 with about half a period to go in that one, Mike.
Yeah, exciting game. Boy, you can't get enough of that. Minnesota boys high school hockey, when you get those back and forth games. You know what? You enjoy them when you get them.
So I'm talking about last night's game because we have a great one here, and it's reminiscent of that type of drama. Low-scoring affair, but it is 1-1, and it just seems like every minute that goes by, there's another screw, another turn of the screw, and the pressure just keeps amping higher and higher and higher. And centering pass trying to connect down low into Dinar and goes under his stick. You know, one of the things, we don't have a lot of goals being converted, but over and over and over, Stillwater is getting players into that little spot down low, and the pucks are going through. One of these times it might catch their stick and bounce into the goal. They're having no problem getting bodies in front of the net on this power play. Ooh, squirty little bounce there, and it's cleared out to the neutral zone, through the neutral, and all the way back on goal. Played by Brown. Brown out to the neutral zone, and the player was getting bodied into the zone, and they have to tag up. Interesting little sequence there. No shots on goal during that power play. I think there were some shots that did not record because they got deflected before they arrived. Played out to the blue line. This is Davidson. Big shot, and we get a stoppage, and a save, and a clear out to the neutral zone. Things settle down out at neutral. Schneider, short pass, a little bit too far for Smith. Smith was the goal scorer earlier. He tied this game. Lakeville North got their goal to tie it up at 1-1 off the stick of Smith.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity for Stillwater on that power play to try and swing the game in their favor. North doing a good job keeping pucks outside and limiting the shots.
And one of the things that I talk about in announcing games with momentum is it's a big uplift when you have a kill like that. So if you're wondering what's going to be the catalyst to maybe spur the Panthers to a closing finish here and maybe win the game, it could start with a kill like that. You don't get a lot of scoring chances when you're on the kill, but you sure get an uplift when those 2 minutes roll off, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'll be interesting to see how North responds now in the next couple shifts here.
Crans into the face-off circle. It's a bit of a stalemate, eventually popping back onto the stick of the defender. If these boys would just turn their back, I could read their numbers. I think that's Wiley over there, far side. They don't have a sleeve number. You know, that's one of the issues. In case you're wondering, Mike or somebody watching at home, like John never seems to know who's out there. They don't have a sleeve number, and that makes it difficult. You kind of need to see the back in order to make anything out. The interesting part about that jersey, though, you notice there's no sleeve number. What do they have?
It looks like they got little their horseshoe pony logo down the side.
Well, that's on the sleeve, but look at the front. It's a football jersey, right? You got the number on the front.
Oh,
and the back. It's not used to that in hockey, but we got the football. It's an interesting style. I love the little getup. But if I'm looking at the side of somebody, can't see the front or the back. Numbers on both, and as a result, struggling through the play-by-play. Cotton Eye Joe blaring over the loudspeakers. Shots are starting to level out. Lakeville's gotten a couple to net. It's 22-13, but 1-1 in the all-important goal column. 9:58 remains. We're just under the 10-minute mark, coming up on the midpoint of the final period, and really this game just keeps getting better and better and better. Shandorf with a shot. This one steered aside nicely by Brown. Stillwater's trying to find a breakout past Stengel. Oh, intercepted. Nice play there by Connick. Shandorf. He's looking for cycling with Connick, but Connick zagged while he was looking for him to zig and give Stillwater an opportunity to break this out. Onto the stick of Isley. Isley cuts over to his forehand and takes it in wide. A nice little play there. Somehow the weak side missing the goal. I thought that was going to go into the back of the net. Johnny on the spot. Stengel was right there.
Sure did. Looked like a tap in. It was looked like a tap in and went wide.
So we talked about maybe some of the players that didn't dress. There's rotating, I think, with some of the seniors into those last spots. I'm hoping this player isn't injured. Any idea? He'd entered the tournament with 8 points so far this year. Any idea why Santiago hasn't been playing for Lakeville North?
No, Santiago down today. I believe that's just a healthy scratch. I don't think there's any
Making
injury.
room for Lee.
Yes. Yep.
And good. And
Weckman. Yeah, so early in the season, they were leaning hard on everybody because they had 4 or 5 guys down, and now these guys are returning and they're getting healthy, and so there's a little bit of juggling and probably trying to get the pieces to fit together in the right chemistry.
And I didn't mention it earlier when we went through the injury report. This is a school who's had a football team that reached the final game. Did they win or lose? They won.
They won the state championship.
They won,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 players, I believe, were in the mix and were unable to try out, and trying to figure out exactly what that final roster is going to look like. So unsettled roster. He said they're about 2 weeks away, but right now they're about a half a period away from finding out if they're winners or losers on the Friday game here from the Hockey for Life.
Yep, Coach Eigner's looking forward to the next couple of weeks. He's got his team on the ice and in practices, and people are healing up, and the football players are finished up. So I think the North team, we're going to learn a lot about them the next 2 weeks.
One more time, these teams have games tomorrow. It will be Stillwater facing Moorhead at noon in the early contest. Third game of the day will be Lakeville North against Eden Prairie. If you're tired of watching red, white, and black, you may not want to watch at 5 because we got another team wearing the same color scheme. Back to the action here. It's Pearson with a circle move, and he spins this one out into the neutral zone to Griffin. Griffin's got Smith crashing the net. Chose a little drop, back pass over to trailing Schneider. Hit a few skates before he wound up picking it up himself, and Griffin on the backside with a couple cracks at it, and beautiful scoring chance there. Real nice puck movement here. Griffin denied. Huge save, Brown.
Starting to feel some of that energy come back that we felt at the end of the second period. The big push the last 8 minutes here, and I think both of these teams are starting to get a sense of the importance of the next goal.
All of a sudden, that Stillwater shot ticker is just locked at 22. Hasn't crept up in quite a while, and leveling it out. Weckman, he's back out with Kranz, and over on the right side, I see Lebens. You're really seeing Lakeville North. I don't know if this is just through, randomness, or if it's something where the coach has changed up things strategically, or maybe he's just gotten through to them emotionally about how important it is to play hard. But it's obvious they're playing much, much more spirited hockey. And beautiful pass here over from Kranz to Weckman, and couldn't quite get a stick on it to redirect it past Brown. We're still at 1-1, but it's visible, it's noticeable, it is obvious. Lakeville North has really picked up the play the last couple shifts.
Yeah, you're right. The shot ticker is starting to go in their favor. They're starting to close the gap with Stillwater, and they're pressing.
Oh, firing it up into the top corner. That's a shot off the stick of Wasco. Leather comes up, and Meyer makes the save, keeps it at 1-1, but real good scoring chance there from the Ponies as we're getting here late into the third period. 7:20 remains.
Yeah, we haven't had the high-scoring affair that they're always fun to watch and see. But I guess give the players credit. They're playing a tight game. They're checking tight and working hard in the corners and on the sidewalls. And so someone's going to have to be opportunistic here coming down the stretch.
And you said your son's playing goalie at Tri-Cities this year, right? Oh, no. It's never the goalie parent that says it's fun when it's high scoring. Your son must be a forward or defenseman, right?
He's a defenseman.
Yeah, you never heard the goalie, oh, it's so much fun when those games are 9-8. Never the goalie parent. Never the goalie parent. So 7 minutes to go in this one. I kid. Trying to break it out towards Schandorf, but pinching in over on the right side is Raleigh. Raleigh's been a very nice defenseman all tournament, and he gets the puck at the blue line, sweeps over, looking for a pass, and onto the stick of Isley. Isley short pass out top, and boy, oh boy, it looked like almost like they were setting up a power play formation, but it's not 5-on-5, and a little tick out there would have sprung one of those Lakeville North players on a breakaway.
Stillwater doing a nice job up top, moving that puck. 3 guys up high, moving it, but you're right. There was an opportunity there, ill-advised pass, and North's going the other way, but Stillwater gets a shot on the net.
We've got 6 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the third period. 6 minutes, 42 seconds to go. Faceoff comes right in front of the Lakeville bench. Everybody's seeming pretty calm if you look at both benches, but we've got a pressure cooker here. 1-1 is the score, and anybody's ball game at this point. In case you're wondering, well, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's talk about the action as Stillwater's strong on the zone entry, and a couple shots getting toward the goal. Bringing it over the right side is Scott. Scott plays it back to the blue line, kept in at the point, and nice steal here by Griffin. What a saucer pass. He chipped it right over the head of somebody onto the stick of Schneider.
It was crazy. It went over everybody's head.
You usually don't see anything that high come down and land flat.
I know. That was a great pass.
So Mike,
whether he intended or not, I don't know.
So Mike, in case you're wondering, if the game were to end regulation tied, just like any other high school game in Minnesota, they would play an 8-minute overtime session. It's 5-on-5. They would switch ends. It'd be set up like the second period. Right. Should it be tied at that point, we don't have a play-down elimination. It'll just end in a tie. Next year, Hockey for Life. Heard this straight from the horse's mouth. Tony from Youth Hockey Hub said there would be a vanity shootout to determine maybe some excitement winner of the game. And there would be a shootout, but it would go into the books as a regulation tie, much like when Maple Grove and Edina had a regulation and an overtime tie, and Maple Grove won the shootout at the Turkey Trot in Plymouth. So this year there would be no shootout. Just letting you know in case we're still tied. 5 minutes, 48 seconds. We'll go to overtime, and that'd be it.
Right.
Back to the action, 5:40, and it's an easy breakout for Stillwater, and bringing it through the neutral zone with a shot taken steered wide of the net off the stick of Huber. Big save by Meyer, and now the faceoff is in his end.
Hey, I like that thought on the vanity shootout. You know, as a spectator and a fan watching hockey, and when you do end on those ties, they feel empty. You watch a great hockey game, and then you go to the overtime, and then it ends, and everybody kind of looks at each other in the rink, and the kids look at each other. I like that idea.
Yeah, but we don't get to use some of the descriptive language as an announcer. No sister kissers if you don't have any ties. So I don't know. Why is a tie like kissing your sister? But that's always been the expression, or at least was back 30 years ago. So back to the action here. Levens in the corner trying to find a way out. And this one's out high slot. Big wrister comes off the stick of Tussey. Haven't called his name for a while. Remember how he started out the period like a house of fire? Tussey's back out there, and he's one to keep an eye on. He's been a little sleepy the last couple shifts, but maybe it's because he's looking to get sprung playing away, looking for the puck to come over in his direction. Munson works against Tussey, brings this one in. Just a sophomore, he fires this one wide, and losing his footing right in front of the bench was Davidson. That was a little bit of a frantic moment as he had to regain composure. Otherwise, there might have been a breakaway behind him. Pass onto the stick of Levens. Isley. Isley is he's an outstanding player. He's the leading scorer for Stillwater so far this year, and he just does a lot of little things like that there where he catches a hard-to-catch pass and he's up ice before you know it. He'll continue to do very well post-high school.
Yeah, that name is that Isley name. I think if it's the same family, he had a brother that played goalie for Stillwater a couple years ago, Seth. Very good goalie, so obviously a talented hockey family there.
So it was interesting. I just said Tussey's been a little quiet. He's going to make something happen, and he takes it all the way to the goal. Kind of knocks into the goal. He budges the net a little bit. But, you know, Tussey, he's one to watch. With 4:34 remaining, he gets to the net there. Shots on goal right now, 25-15. But we've only had 2 goals in this game. It's 1-1. Late third period action here from Prior Lake. It is the Hockey for Life. Day 2, game 2. Lakeville North with the puck, tied with Stillwater. Turnover. What a beautiful forecheck. They just hound you, and Scott plays this one over in front of the net. Bounces over past Donner, and they don't get the goal they're looking for, but now behind the goal line you have Reski. They have a suffocating forecheck, Mike.
No question. You underestimate forecheck sometimes. You're always concentrating on zone entry, but Stillwater's creating a lot of opportunities off their forecheck.
Tons, and the goalie can't get the cover there, and bodies are flying, and they're still in possession of the puck, banging down low, and I don't know, my spidey senses are tingling. You kind of have a feeling one of these might wind up getting past the goaltender.
Yep, Stillwater's got North trapped a little bit right now, and they're winning the battles and races, and here you go.
Of course, the other part is maybe you get an odd man rush the other way, and they say that he's onside. I'm not sure that he was, and that's the other thing. Maybe it's pressure, puck pops out, and like we see it right there, kind of a 2-on-1 situation here, Lakeville North. Maybe it's them that's going to get the next goal. I don't know that we're going to make it to overtime.
I agree. You got that sense. You can just kind of feel something's going on in the building right now, that spiny, tingly feeling you're talking about. You can kind of sense there's something going on, and one of these teams is going to take advantage of an opportunity.
I want to know what Justin thinks. He's standing next to me. He's our producer. He's got the headset on, no microphone, however. And when I said, I don't know that we're going to make it to overtime, this head shaking violently. It's pretty clear Justin doesn't think we're going to make it to overtime. 3 minutes to go. No, somebody's going to score. Don't go anywhere, folks. Somebody's about to score. We're all feeling it here up in the booth. This is a big shot steered aside by Brown, and Smith picks this one up. He's the goal scorer for Lakeville North, and nice quick transition play. We're breaking out the other direction. It's Wasco. Wasco enters wide, and he runs into nice static, broken up there. Pearson with a great play defensively. Circling out is Smith, and Smith over to Schneider. Schneider, can't quite connect to Griffin, and all of a sudden, it's some end-to-end action, and Stillwater completes part of a line change, played out into the neutral zone. Wiley on retreat into his own end, clips it out just past the blue line, onto the stick of Tussey. I'm going to watch Tussey, folks. Number 7 here for the Ponies. He had a great last shift. He really started the period like a house of fire. He was kind of quiet in between. Don't be surprised if you see Tussey pop free, get the puck on his stick, and maybe bang one in here. That might be the decisive goal. 1-1 is your score. We hit the 2-minute mark in this game. 2 minutes to go. Turnover, suffocating forecheck. How many times have we said that today? Yeah, just a hounding forecheck. These guys, they catch you from behind. Hounding in is Isley and gets the puck turned over, fires it. If there was a juicy rebound, nice cover here by Mayer, but who was going to knock it in? Tussey.
Tussey. You know, I love the word relentless when you talk about forechecking, and Stillwater has been relentless on their forecheck throughout the game. There's no question. When they come at you hard.
Nobody's pulling the goalie, tied 1-1, so we're not going to keep an eye on the nets here, but we're late third period. This is the time of the game when you certainly less. All I can say, Mike, is there's less time to recover if you have a penalty or a goal. Anything at this point would be much more significant than if it happens a little bit earlier in the third period.
You got to love the last minute or two of a hockey game. Everything's magnified. Everything's critical. You got to get your right people on the ice that are familiar with these situations and that are able to execute.
Everything is magnified, amplified, and justified. Backhand opportunity here. He fires it in. It's knocked down, cleared out to the neutral zone. Good play here by our defender. Am I missing somebody? Out to the neutral zone, and Stillwater one last time on the zone entry. We've got 90 seconds to go, and wow, strong on the forecheck. Somehow the puck never came out, and a beautiful pass there. It's off the stick of Scott, plays it over kind of a weak side, and now it's lofted out to the neutral zone. Just 70 seconds to go in regulation. Scott one more time, short pass, gets it onto the stick of Reski. This one's thrown out in front of the Stillwater bench. Close to having too many men out there, but play continues. Now we're down into the final minute of regulation. We might have a significant end here as they turn over to Isley, and that's it. Wow, wow, wow. Goal!
Stillwater jumping on an opportunity.
I don't know what to say. You know, it was just a weird ebb and flow to this game. It's not over yet, but it just seemed all period long. The later we got, it was like something's about to happen, something's about to happen, something's about to happen. Gets onto the stick of their senior leader, leading scorer, Isley. You know, all of a sudden pulls this back in, fires that wrister. There is no doubt, tickling the twine. A little bit of a hug situation here where goaltenders Johnson and Mayer hugging. Hey, bud, nothing you could do about that one. Now all of a sudden, backs against the wall. Lakeville North has to figure out how they're going to respond. All right, that's for Isley.
Yeah, the last minute of a period, I've been on the bench, I've coached, my kids on the ice, you're trying to protect the lead. The last minute can be the longest minute of the hockey game. So I don't know how Stillwater will feel about the last 50 seconds, but I think we can expect to see Lakeville North bring in everything in the kitchen sink for the last 50 seconds of this game.
Shots are 30-16. Ponies on the 30th shot get their second goal. Kind of a jaw dropper, really no way to call it other than to just say, wow. Looked like the defenseman had good position on him. Looked like the goalie had plenty of time to get set up. Somehow he finds a little hole in that, you know, that eclipse. The goaltender's eclipsing most of the net. Little one goes up about halfway up, just inside the post. I don't know, about 20 inches off the ice, and you know, beautiful shot there. That's a goal scorer's goal. Credit Isley. He makes this one 2-1. Goaltender goes back into the net. I'm a radical. I advocate, and I want to see a team do it, coming back out with 6 skaters and just putting a skater there. It's going to take them a little while to get them off if they win the draw. So it's 51 seconds left, and we'll see what happens here. Stillwater on retreat. They have a 2-1 lead, and they play it over, breaking it out to Isley. Kept in by Munson. Second time's a charm, and finally it's broken out to the neutral zone. Goaltender still in the net, and that's why I like getting him out earlier than this. They can't find a way to get him. I don't know why he's not coming out now. I guess they're not going to pull him. Never mind. Back to the action here. Wiley. They gained the zone, but they never gained possession. Here's a breakaway for Isley. Home run pass. Oh, my goodness. Home run. Wiley to Isley. That would have iced it. But instead, a huge stoppage here with 17 seconds to go.
Isley's name showing up quite a bit here in the last couple minutes. Your goal scorers and your leaders.
Yeah, it's funny,
last
you know.
Couple minutes of the game.
It's funny that, you know, there's so much attention on the recruiting process. Like, oh, this guy's committed. This guy's committed. You mentioned your son. He must be, what, 20 years old. He's given his college commitment.
Yep.
You know, here's a guy. His name's not highlighted on my line chart. Isley's not committed to an NCAA Division I college, but he's a phenomenal player, and he's looked every bit as good as all the other guys in this tournament that might be committed. So anyway, it's a big one there. 10 seconds to go. Last gas, Schneider. Schneider entering the zone. They finally get the goaltender out. There's only 5 seconds left, a little bit too late, and empty netter is going to be how this one ends. That one goes in off the stick of Wasco. Wasco makes it 3-1 empty netter. Stillwater are your winners.
Yeah, you know, a good defensive game, I think, played by both teams. You know, testimony to that is 47 shots between the two teams and a 2-1 hockey game. Goalies have played well. The D-corps have played well. It's been a game of opportunity. It just really has, and we saw that with the Stillwater goal there to make it 2-1.
Yeah, so the final on this one is going to be Lakeville North going down in a defeat. 3-1 with that empty net goal to Stillwater. Both these teams back tomorrow. Stillwater facing Moorhead. Stillwater's got to be feeling pretty good. They lost 3-4 yesterday to St. Thomas, 3-1 winners over Lakeville today. Lakeville North winners yesterday, Prior Lake. Today they lose to Stillwater, so both these teams 1-1. It won't be an empty visit for them. And tomorrow it's going to be Lakeville North against Eden Prairie. Eden Prairie yet to win. They lost to Chaska. So, Mike, I've enjoyed this. It's great that you can come up and work the game with me. In closing, why don't we talk a little bit about maybe some of the players you like off of both teams, nominate them when this is all said and done at the end of Saturday's games tomorrow. There's a few players that I'll pop onto a broadcasters all-tournament team, some of the players that our announcing crew throughout the weekend liked.
Yeah, you know, I think when you talk about Stillwater, obviously the two names that pop up is Tussey and Isley. They really got after it here coming down the stretch, and were big leaders for Stillwater there. You know, Smith, Schneider, Griffin, I mean, those three are the top line for North, and they're their big offensive weapons. I'd say Mayer had a phenomenal game.
Great goaltending both ways. Brown as well.
Brown
both
as well.
ways.
I love the way both goalies played today. So, yeah, those are the key players I saw for that game in terms of the end result. And, you know,
you named a bunch of forwards, you know, in a game like this that's 1-1 all the way down to the nitty-gritty. You know, obviously there's good defense as well. And just throwing out some names, Raleigh has been a great player for Stillwater in both games that I saw. Stillwater's not a team I'm familiar with. Benson suited up today. I don't know that I even called his name once yesterday. I'm not sure if he dressed or didn't play, but Benson played pretty well. And on the other side for Lakeville North, a lot of talented young defensemen there. Certainly, you know, Pearson, Munson, Gasparini, Davidson, none of them are seniors, and a good core there. So, yeah, a lot to choose from, but I agree. It's just hard not to love Isley. What a great game. Isley, you know, with the game winner late, senior leader, and Stillwater are your victors.
It's a good hockey game. Very good hockey game, and two good teams. This is a great venue, a lot of great teams in here, and you know what? It's a fun environment to watch, and enjoyed this game a lot.
Well, thanks for joining me. So he is Mike Pearson. I am John Connolly, and I want to thank everybody for watching. We had another outstanding performance by our producer, Justin. Thanks for watching.